Where are you coming from?
Cambridge.
Kate from Cambridge. She came over the river. It's so far. Thanks for coming.
So I did not plan to tell a story tonight, so you have to bear with me, and I've never done this before, so again, bear with me. I did not grow up in a pet family when I was a kid. In retrospect, it was really pathetic that my brother and I used to walk around in the backyard with slugs on the end of sticks, walking them. But I did have Charlie, who came into my life a few years ago, briefly. And Charlie was a Jack Russell Terrier. And if you don't know, they're these small dogs, and he had brown spots, and they're known for being smart, as well as kind of headstrong. And so Charlie had spent most of his life in California, living in the suburbs, a pretty tame, staid life. He did have a penchant for running away. He liked some adventure, and he particularly liked construction sites and construction workers for some reason. But then he came when he was 12 years old, so I guess in dog years he would have been almost 100 years old. He came to live in Connecticut with my roommate when we were in grad school, and that's where I met him. And I fell in love with Charlie, despite him he was really an asshole, is what he was. He would flip laundry bins, and he would flip garbage, and he was really a manipulative little dog. He had this thing where he liked to be with other people, and so when we left for classes in the morning, he used to put up his paw, and we would call it the Parkinson shake. He would shake it in the morning like this, and sort of looking like desperation for us leaving. He liked to get his way. He used to do things like go on hunger strikes when he didn't get what he wanted, or he didn't get the attention that he needed, that he would just leave his food bowl, for days on end. I put a sweater on him once, and apparently he didn't like it because he didn't eat for a few days, and then I took it off, and he went straight to his food bowl. So he was a smart little guy. And I had gotten really fond of him, and knowing that he was, even in his old age, eager to run away, we had gotten an electric fence, and he had a collar, and he was really good about this, and he never really ran away with the collar. But then one winter, or it's towards the spring, we had sort of gotten lazy about putting this leash on him because he had gotten so used to what the barriers were. And so one afternoon I was doing work in our house, and I was alone in the house, and I hadn't seen Charlie in a while, which was unusual because usually he liked to curl up next to you and spend time with you. And so I looked around the house, and I couldn't find him, and I went outside, and I was yelling, "Charlie, Charlie," looking for him, and he was nowhere to be seen. And I was really devastated that he was gone, while my roommate, who was actually the owner of 12 or 13-year-old Charlie, was sort of nonplussed by the whole situation. She said, "Oh, he'll find his way back," or "He always finds his way back." But I ended up writing out flyers, and I had a picture of him, and then I wrote that he was a senior and that he needed his medicine, which he didn't take. But I figured that if people thought he was a sick dog, they would be more likely to return him. I posted on every single website, Craigslist, everything. And he was gone for, I think it would have probably been more than a day. And I got a phone call. And it was this gruff voice, and this guy said, "I saw your ad on Craigslist." He said, "I have your dog, and I named him Buckwheat." And I said, "Okay, his name is Charlie, but sure." So he came, we arranged, and he came to the house to drop Charlie off, and he told me, I came out to the car, and this big guy was sitting in the car, and Charlie was perched up on his lap, and he said to me, he was a really well-trained dog. He just watched TV with me, and we sat in the Lazy Boy, and I made him a ham and cheese, which I thought was really interesting, that you'd make a dog a sandwich because they don't have thumbs. Like, what? I don't remember really what he was thinking. So I was, reaching for Charlie to take him back, and Charlie starts doing the little Parkinson's arm and looking pathetic, like as if I'm like beating him, and he doesn't want to come back. But I think he just has the thirst for adventure. So he did finally come back into my arms, and he didn't run away. He's actually back in California now with his owner. And we sort of have this unspoken promise that she's never going to let me know when he passes away. And so I like to think that Charlie lives in perpetuity, even though he's probably like 18 years old by now in if he were, well, I don't want to think about it. But that's my story.